What is up, you guys? The Dark Knight here, back with another action figure review, and today we're taking a look at the DC Multiverse, DC Comics Originals Batman. Take a look at the packaging here. It's pretty much the exact same scene with all their DC Multiverse figures. You get the blue vibrant package over here, and blue as for the main color of DC, so it's pretty accurate in that remark. But anyway, you also do get the Batman 80 Years logo over there, because if you don't know, this year is the 80th anniversary of Batman, so I'm guessing this has to do with the line of the 80th anniversary figures. And they do get the Batman name at the top over there, along with the DC Comics Originals, along with another photo of Batman at the bottom over there, along with the DC Multiverse logo. And then at the top of here, you also do get the DC logo, once again, a bit of a spot varnish material. At the side, you also do get the same similar concept going along with the DC Comics Originals logo at the top of there, another Batman photo, and then the DC Multiverse logo. And then the other side, you pretty much have the exact same thing going on over here, just with the window box going along. At the back of the packaging over here, you also do get all the other figures you need to collect size wave. I also collect the Joker over here, so be sure to stay tuned for a review on that. But anyways, you get the same similar Batman picture at the top of there, along with a little bio over there, and you can go ahead and read it by pausing it now. And then at the bottom of here, you got a couple of warnings, along with the very bottom being a bit of copyright info along with the UPC code. But with that being said, you guys, let's take a look at Batman. So here's Batman outside the packaging over here, and man, I don't know about this figure. I think that the main thing that really does bring this figure down for me, along with many other collectors as I'm assuming, is the fact that we were really hoping for a 1989 movie accurate Batman. Now, as this does look like a 1989 Batman, it actually isn't. Just to go through a bit of a history lesson, during the 1989 Batman movies and so on and so forth, all those Batman movies that came along at that time, the Tim Burton movies, they came up with this toy line that was called Toybiz. And I believe that also Kenner did a couple of figures as well too. So in that line, they created a figure that resembled the Michael Keaton Batman, but it didn't exactly look like him. It looked more like a comic book version. And if you guys haven't already guessed it, this figure over here is basically an adaptation of that figure. So with that being said, I mean, I kind of like what Mattel was going for. I mean, kind of like going with the retro kind of line, kind of like you know, for Batman 80 years, it makes sense. But I was really looking for that Michael Keaton Batman, man. You know what, before we do make any final opinions on this guy, I think that we should take a closer look at him first. As far as accessories though, he does come with two accessories, with one being this battering over here, and as you can see, it really does resemble that kind of like Tim Burton kind of battering, and I mean, it looks pretty good altogether, nothing really bad to say about it. And it does have this string coming along from the battering over here, which goes into this kind of like peg over here. Now this peg over here is meant for the second accessory, which is the grappling gun over here, and as you can see, this has not turned out bad whatsoever. Just a flat black, but sculpt is pretty good for the most part. It is a bit of a rubbery material, so he can hold it into his hand if you'd like him to. The fingers over here are a bit of a rubbery material, so it can fit into his hand pretty easy, and as you can see, he holds it pretty well. But this peg over here does fit into the end of this grapple gun over here, if you can see the hole over there, and I mean, you just peg it right through like so, and then holds it pretty well, and you have now a grapple gun. And if you were curious as to how long exactly it was, as you can see, holding from the end of the rule over there, it reaches to around 7 inches, so that's pretty good. So now taking a closer look at the figure over here, I mean, the head sculpt probably has to be the worst part of this figure in my personal opinion. I mean, it's not that I hate it. I really do like the design that they went with over here. It really does remind me of the Toybiz, as it's supposed to, the Toybiz / Kenner figure, but it also does really give me a Batman the Animated Series vibe too, which is pretty cool. My main problem with it though is just the fact that A, the chin is way too big, and B, the head is just too big if you look at it compared to the rest of the body. I mean, I don't know, that just doesn't work well with me. But if you do put it on an angle over here, I mean, looks perfectly fine. It looks like the head is proportional with the rest of the body. Same thing with when you put it on the other side over here too. It's just that, I don't know, I just don't like how wide it is, I guess. But the paint is pretty crisp, pretty clean for the most part. Nothing really bad to say about it. Once again, it's not a bad head sculpt, it's just that it is not proportional for the body, and I do think that the jaw is a little bit too big. But still, once again, if you want to use it for an animated series figure, you could definitely do that. Taking a look at the rest of the body over here, as you can see, they have used the same buck that they've used for the Dick Grayson Batman, along with the SDCC exclusive Batman. And I mean, it's not bad, I gotta say, but I really do wish that they went more detailed with like how the suit looked in the movie. That symbol over here too is a bit inaccurate to the movie. However, I do believe it is accurate to the Toybiz / Kenner Batman. The reason why I say it's not accurate to the movie is that if you don't know, inside the movie, like the bottom points that you get on the bat symbol over here, the little fins, in the movie they actually had 2 extra fins going along before the very bottom fin over there. And as you can see, it's not accurate with this over here. But overall, it's not bad looking. I mean, I do kind of favor this look over that 1989 bat symbol look, but yeah, not accurate to that whatsoever. I must say the cowl over here is actually looking pretty good for the most part. You get all little like flaps going along, and I mean, it looks pretty good altogether, even on the back over here too. Cape over here though is a little bit different as to what we've seen with the DC Multiverse figures. As you can see, the Dick Grayson Batman over here had a bit more of a shinier cape, a little bit more see-through with lines going throughout, a little bit ugly, I do have to say. This cape is a bit of a step up, however, I don't know if I'm still a fan of it. I mean, it really does give off those retro vibes, kind of like from the Toybiz era, so if that's what they were aiming for, they definitely have done it, but I don't know, this cape really isn't my cup of tea, if I have to say. And then, as you can see over here, it's a little bit flat on the outside, furry on the outside. But anyway, arms over here actually do look pretty okay for the most part. It has the exact same hand that they used with the Dick Grayson Batman over here. As you can see, has all the same detailing going along, so nothing different in that regard. But I do like this gauntlet over here. This gauntlet is a little bit different. I don't think it's accurate to the movie, because the movie one had a bit of like a pad over here and then had lines going down that way, not on an angle. So not accurate in that part, but it does remind me of a New 52 / Grey Capullo Batman. So I am a fan of that, so I do think that these gauntlets are pretty okay in my book. Probably the only thing accurate to the movie on this figure has to be the belt over here. I mean, this belt looks like it's been ripped straight from the movie over here, and it looks pretty good altogether. So if you wanted to create a custom 1989 Batman, you can definitely use this belt over here. Thin legs once again over here, just a flat black material, shiny material. Pretty much the same thing we've seen with all the other Batman bucks, I guess you could say. As you see, both the exact same legs, just different colors. But boots over here are a little bit different. They are a little bit accurate, I do have to say. I think that in the movie they had these. I could be wrong though. Still looks like a New 52 kind of boot, I guess you could say. But I do like these feet over here, because if you don't know, inside the movie they actually had Nike boots. Instead of it being like their own Batman boots, they actually had Nike boots. And as you can see over there, they have added a little bit of a little bit of a lace looking kind of thing going on over there. And I mean, in my opinion, it does resemble it, although it's not actual laces. But it still looks really cool in my opinion. And then as you can see at the bottom here, no treads whatsoever, but there are 2 pegels. Articulation though is pretty okay for the most part. I mean, it's the same thing we've seen with the DC Multiverse Dick Grayson Batman and the DC Multiverse SDCC exclusive Batman, because as it is the exact same body buck. But I will go over it again. Head can move about that much. You can move down, you can move side to side. There's a bit of pivot in there. He also has arm articulation over here, which makes him go up about that much, and then he can rotate forward, back, bicep swivel. Single jointed elbow in here, which moves in at about that far, so that's pretty good. He also has wrist articulation here too, which is swivel and up and down. He also does have an ab crunch, which moves down at about that much, but doesn't really move back at all, because it does lock up in there. But anyways, he does also have a waist swivel in here, which is pretty good as well too. He can kick forward, can't really kick back, just about that much. But he also does the splits over here, which is pretty good. He also does have a thigh swivel over here, which is pretty good. Double jointed knees, which is awesome to see. And we also do get ankle articulation over here, which is down, up, and finally ankle pivot. In terms of Batman's height over there, as you can see, he does stand at around I'd say 6.5 inches tall to the ears. Here is compared to the Dick Grayson Batman over here, and if you haven't checked out his review yet, it will be in the info bar up there. Here's compared to the recent Multiverse Alpha figure over here, and he does have that Michael Goff head sculpt on, because Michael Goff was the actor who played Alfred in 1989, and as you can see, they both stand pretty well together. If you haven't checked out his review yet, you can go and check it out once again by the info bar. And here he is compared to the only other figure that I collected inside this way over here, the Joker, and be sure to stay tuned for his review, because he will be coming up next. Then here he is compared to a couple of other like retro kind of collectibles over here, and as you see, I mean, if you had a display with retro collectibles of your 1989 Batman stuff, he fits right in. Ooh, and one final comparison over here, if you guys are pop collectors out there is compared to his pop over here. So final thoughts on this figure over here, and right off the bat, I do have to say, if you guys are a fan of like the movie accurate kind of collectible slash action figures, if you're hoping that this guy can be your 1989 Michael Keaton Batman, it's a definite no. I mean, that can be very disappointing, but we also do have to remember this figure isn't meant to be a Michael Keaton Batman. This figure is meant to represent the Toybiz slash Kenner Batman. And as unfortunate as it might seem, it wasn't accurate to the movie whatsoever, that original Toybiz Batman. So with that being said, I mean, if this is supposed to be based off of Kenner Batman, it's an easy 10 out of 10 because it completely represents it in all aspects. It's got a cloth cape that's pretty much the same material as that Toybiz slash Kenner series Batman. It's got a head sculpt that's pretty representative of it, because I mean, I don't like the bigger head sculpt over there. I don't think it's proportional to the rest of the body, but if you remember too, I'm pretty sure that Toybiz slash Kenner Batman wasn't supposed to be proportional to the rest of the body either. So I guess what I'm trying to say over here is that if you are a fan of the Toybiz slash Kenner series Batman, if you're looking for this figure because you want a like good representation slash updated kind of like figure over here of the Toybiz Batman, this is a perfect figure over here. So when it comes down to the rating of this figure, I mean, it's hard to determine because we're either talking about if this is a good Michael Keaton Batman or a good Toybiz Batman. So if we say it's a good Michael Keaton Batman, obviously it's not going to get a good score, but in this case, it's supposed to be a Toybiz slash Kenner Batman, so I'm going to rate it that way. So being a Toybiz slash Kenner Batman, I'm going to give this figure a rating of a 9 out of 10. I think this is a fair enough score for this guy over here for what he represents. But for me personally, it's not my cup of tea. One thing that I do want to say about this figure over here, about Mattel in general, is the fact that I really do appreciate this. And what I think happened is that in like the behind the scenes at Mattel, they were planning on releasing a Michael Keaton Batman, but however, what I think happened is that they didn't have enough time to. Because you don't know, this year is the last year for Mattel with DC Multiverse figures. They have lost the license and they will be giving it off to McFarlane Toys. So I do have to say I'm really thankful for what they tried to do over here. From what I'm assuming is that, seeing as it was their last year, they wanted to get out a 1989 Batman before they left. And I mean, it was a little bit unfortunate that they did give us this figure over here, this Toybiz slash Kenner version of the character over here, but they still delivered, which I'm very happy with. So Mattel, if you are watching, thank you very much for trying your hardest and coming out with the 1989 Batman as all the fans have been asking for. It's just unfortunate that there wasn't enough time to actually develop this figure and make him look a lot more movie accurate. With that being said, guys, we do come to the end of the video over here. Thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to leave a comment in the comment section down below. Tell me what you guys thought about this figure. Tell me what you thought about my review. And I usually don't say this in my videos, but if you haven't already, be sure to follow me on Instagram and now on Facebook. Usually on YouTube, I'm not able to get videos out there as much as I want to, but on Facebook and Instagram, I'm always constantly posting on there. So if you guys want to know what's happening with my channel, want to keep up to date, you can go ahead and follow those two accounts, and I mean, it'll tell you all about it. Be sure to leave a like rating down below too, as it does help with the quality of my videos, trying to tell me where I should stay, where I should stay away from. And as all YouTubers do beg you to do, subscribe. But with that being said, guys, like, comment, and subscribe. I appreciate it all. Thank you guys so much for watching, and hopefully I will see you guys in the next video.